Welcome to the Good Girls Get Rich podcast. I'm Karen Yankovich. I'm the host of the Good Girls Get Rich podcast. This is episode number 271, and I am so excited for you to meet our guest today. You hear me talk a lot about how much I adore the women that are in my She's LinkedUp Accelerator program and all the changes that they make in the world and the importance of them stepping into this new identity and their personal brand. But we have what I haven't talked a lot about is how we do some of this stuff behind the scenes. So today I've got Dee. She is on team She's LinkedUp, and she has also gone through the program as a student because it's important to me that everyone on my team knows exactly what it is that we do and that we teach. So she's coming here today with a couple of different perspectives, right? The one perspective of being behind the scenes, but also the perspective of a student. So Dee, welcome. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Hi, Karen. It's amazing to be on the podcast with you, of course, and it's amazing to be able to share my experience of working with you and the ladies in your team to deliver and serve the women that we actually serve. So I think we've been working together for about 18 months, somewhere around there now. Mm-hmm. And I will definitely say that I've had the time of my life. I work as a virtual assistant. And it's my job, as you always say, to love up on your students. And
exactly,
of course,
I'm this is how we roll around here. I just realized my microphone's not plugged in, so I'm going to plug it in now while you keep talking. So go ahead, keep talking.
And so, of course, I'm in the business of love. Many years ago, I was actually told that part of my purpose in life is to love. And so that's why working on this team it means so much to me, because it means that I get to love. I literally get to love, and really hold space for the women, because what we often find is that we are our own obstacles. We create our own obstacles through our thoughts and everything that comes along with that. And many times all we need is just for someone to cheer us along on our journey and to say, it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to take one step. Don't stand still. Just do one thing today if that's all you can manage to do. So, yeah.
Well, it is true. That is your number one job. Just job responsibility is to love up on our clients. And it's important, we've had some, let's just say hiccups with that, not for your fault, for my fault, right? Like I remember a couple months ago, we were doing something and I was completely swamping you. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, I was completely swamping this poor woman with some busy work that we just had to get done instead of going outside and finding somebody that could just do the busy work. And I woke up one morning and I just felt like we were not serving our clients, that I was pulling Dee in too many directions. So I was like, that's it. From today forward, anything that I ask you to do that's on this side of the pre-sale side of this business, you're to say to me, are you sure you really want me to do that, Karen? Because my job is the post-sale. Because it's so important to me that we're serving up. Because there's one thing that you said, Dee, that I want to bring out to people that are listening. And that is that we're there for them. We're loving up on them. And it's not like the women that we work with and men, we've had a few men. It's not like they don't have other people in their life that love and support them. But so often they don't understand their big goals, right? Like their family and their friends. And, I was actually talking, I don't know who it was I was talking to recently. And and you guys may have heard me whine about this before, listeners to the show. I was whining a little bit, I think, about health insurance here in the United States and how expensive it is. And I can talk to my entrepreneur friends about that. If I talk to my family and friends, they'd say, Karen, just go get a job where they pay your health benefits. Do you know what I mean? And like, that is not supportive and helpful to me, right? They think it is. They think it's supportive and helpful, but it's not really supportive and helpful to me. And listen, my goal is let's just make enough money that number is irrelevant, right? Which is really what I want for all of the people that join our program. I want them to be thinking bigger and stepping into their bigger role, whatever that next chapter is for them. It can be bigger, but from what I see, the only way that we can, I'm going to almost say guarantee success with this is with a community around you, right? We've tried to do this ourselves many times over the years. And without the community around us, it's a lot harder, right? It's a lot harder.
I like what you said there, and it's definitely been what I've seen, and I think because we ourselves are business people, we are business owners, and we understand. We walk in the shoes of every woman
Yes.
that comes into this program, so we can relate, and so we understand the challenges that they're going through, and I think that is what sets us apart. It's not someone who works for someone who does something. It's you. You are in contact. It's high touch. It's me. I understand the mind of an entrepreneur. I get that. Cindy, we all, because your team is are people who walk in the shoes of every woman. We can so much apply what we've experienced. It's our experience that helps others like us. So we go through it. I mean, look at me. We were talking about me coming on this podcast, and look how many times I avoided.
Oh my gosh, you guys have no idea. I said to Dee, can we talk about this? I was like, literally, we're recording this. I'm going to just share this with you guys. We're recording this at 7 a.m. here in the US. And Dee's in South Africa. So it's it's later for her. And at 5 o'clock this morning, I was laying in bed responding to some Slack messages. I haven't even gotten out of bed yet. And I was like, and we were trying to do it over the weekend and it didn't happen. And I was like, all right, I'm going to get up. I have other things I need to do to get up and be showered and early for today. So let me get up and do it now. And then I get up, I get to my desk and I start messaging. I'm like, where are you now? Do you know what I mean? Like, where are you now? Like I jumped in the shower quickly to be able to turn my camera on. And like, where are you? I'm like, is it really that? And I'm saying that a little bit jokingly because here's the deal. Even for like a big part of what we do is it's mindset, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you feel, we want you to feel confidently doing this stuff. And I said, does the thought of getting on camera and being on this show, this is like the third avoidance, and it was only a short avoidance this morning. Right. But
well, I decided to practice what I preach and teach as I hold space for all of these women. I'm doing accountability calls with them. I'm doing, I connect with them all the time. And when I speak to them, I tell them, feel the fear, but do it anyway.
There we go.
And so now I am representing myself in that manner. And I'm saying, I'm going to feel the fear, but I'm going to do it anyway, because that's the advice that I give each and every one of these women, these amazing women in this program, and those who have gone through the program.
Right.
It doesn't stop there because the alumni are as important as the current students. And I mean, that's not something that we stop. We don't stop loving up on them. We are always there. We are like that ever present. We are that tree. When they come to us and they want to lean on us and they want to gain some strength or wisdom, whatever you call it, through whatever the healy-feely people out there would call it, we are there. We literally stand there. We reach out, and when they need us, we are always there. So people move on, and people can choose to do that. But those who still need it, they can still tap into us after after months of not being in the program, because those are the long-lasting kind of relationships that we form with these women, and they know that we've got their back no matter what,
Yeah. And if you're listening to this and you were a student a year ago or 2 years ago, 3 years ago, you're probably still getting messages from me introducing you to people saying, you know what, we've got this new person in our program. Her name's Mary, and you and Mary really need to know each other. Because to me, it's those deeper relationships that is where the abundance comes into your life, right? And having these conversations about that and confidently doing that, like getting back to that confidence thing, right? So many of the women that we work with, they have these big dreams, and I love their big dreams. But we all know what like New Year's resolutions look like, right? Like, this is the year I'm going to lose 20 pounds. I'm going to hit 7 figures. I'm going to do all the things. And by February, there's a date in January. I don't remember what it is, but they call it like, I don't know, like the failure date or something. Like, this is the day everybody drops their resolutions, right? So something has to be done differently, right? So I know that these women have these beautiful big dreams up here, but their energy and their alignment is down here. So what we like to do is try to align that. And I love that we want to do hard things. I want to do hard things. And at the same time, we want to do it with the foundation of our comfort zone, right? Like, yes, I want to push you a little bit out of your comfort zone, but I'm not asking you to, climb a tree if you have, height fears, like it's not that. I'm not asking you to overcome, lifelong fears, but I am going to ask you to push yourself a little bit outside your comfort zone so that you can achieve the kinds of successes that you want to have. And successes isn't always about just money, right? Like successes is, sometimes financial successes help you spend more time with your family. And then you're being more of a successful parent or grandparent or whatever, right? And not that you can't be successful if you have a full-time job. You absolutely can. But you can, for me, I want the women that we work with to create their life and then build a business that supports that life, right? In a way that gives them more freedom and can be done incorporated into the way they want to do that. So even if they've got a podcast interview scheduled and they're, a little bit like, oh my gosh, this is the first one I've ever done. It's okay, do it. And that's why we ask, by the way, that's why I like to create those relationships with our alumni and our current students, because one of the biggest fears, and Dee, you tell me if you agree with this, one of the biggest fears that I think we have to help our students overcome is the fear of getting on the phone with people, of doing outreach to people, and not really knowing why, right? Like not just saying, wow, this person seems like a really cool person. I don't know what or if we could do together, but I'd love to explore the possibilities, get to know them better and explore the possibilities. That is where the magic happens in the work that we teach. And it takes confidence to do that. So if I'm helping them build relationships with kind of like people that are like in our family already, with other family members, it helps them get confidence, because that second or third or fourth one, you're more and more confident with, right? And that, the next interview you get, Dee, and the one after that and the one after that, you're going to be a lot more confident. So tell me this. Like I said, Dee and I have been working, she's like Dee said, we've been working together about 18 months, and her sole role is the client concierge in our She's Linked Up Accelerator program. But because she knows so much about every single one of our clients, obviously there's a lot I ask from her on the front end from a marketing perspective. How do we reach these? What are their greatest fears? Things like that, right? So she's, definitely a big part of everything we do around here. But a couple months ago, I asked Dee to go through the program as a student because I wanted, and truly, I mean, listen, Dee, I've talked about this on some of these episodes, every single person that's on my team right now are contractors, right? They're a part of my team, but they also have other clients, and I'm cool with that. And I think we all need to understand that's the way we do business in 2024 and beyond. So I asked Dee to go through the program as a student for a couple reasons, right? I wanted her to understand fundamentally what we're doing and what we're teaching, but also practically, is there things that don't align? Are there things that don't make sense? Are we out of, because sometimes, you tweak and you tweak and you tweak and you don't realize that you pulled things out of alignment, right? So tell us a little bit about how that was. How was it to go through the program as a student?
It was interesting. I think going through the program really gave me the experience of understanding what these women are going through. There's so much to do, but it helped me figure out how better to support them. So in the advice that I can now give them, I can say to them, you know what? Yes, you've got to do that way, but you can also try it this way, because I have the experience of having that sort of just me. I find the better way that works for me to do things. And so I then share that knowledge with people, with the ladies on the team. It was great also from experiencing it from the student perspective for myself personally, because now I was going through the program and I was now implementing some of the strategies and things. So it gives me I can put more weight behind my words when I say Karen's program is absolutely amazing because, and the strategy work and things like that, because I don't know how many times during my 12 weeks I was coming to the calls and I was celebrating the fact that I had another VIP call, or I had another this,
Yes.
or I had
Yes.
another client. And I remember, Karen, at one point you said, "Oh, I'm not sure if I should have, because now what if you get too many clients?"
make sure you don't give away my hours. Right. So
Correct,
yeah.
exactly.
So tell us
And
a little bit
so,
about that, because that's really,
and
it's
yeah,
hard. I mean, you guys know that are listeners to the show, that if you Google me, and if I'm speaking at a conference or I'm being interviewed on a podcast, we're often talking about LinkedIn, right?
yeah,
LinkedIn and PR. But those are the tools that we
yes,
use, right? They are not at the forefront of what we're doing.
yeah.
So the very first thing that happens when somebody joins our program, the full She's Linked Up Accelerator 12-week program, is that I get on a call with them and we dream up what their big, fat, juicy contract looks like. And I've said this on the show a million times. We're not looking for you to sell one pen at a time. We're looking for you to get a distributor that wants to buy 100,000 of your pens. Like, that's what we look for on that first call. What is a big, fat, juicy contract? I'm not looking to change what you do. I'm not looking to make you just overcharge people. I'm looking to really, get creative and create a big, fat, juicy, lucrative contract. So, and then we want to revert. Once we know what that is, everybody on team She's Linked Up knows exactly what to do to help you reverse engineer your personalized strategy so that you're landing that contract before the end of your 12 weeks. But how many did you land within those 12 weeks?
I had 3 VIP days in the 12 weeks, and I've landed 2 clients, 2
And how
additional
many
clients.
VIP days did you have before the 12 weeks started?
You see, that happened on the first call. on the first call with you, I'd never even considered a VIP client. I never considered what that VIP thing could look like. And so definitely in my case, I can say that with that first call, you create a kind of clarity. You create a kind, you sort of help. It's like you help the curtains unveil what's behind the curtain. And so we go into our 12 weeks with this clarity that we never had before, not really knowing exactly how that would work, but we're now able to express it better. Because I remember after the clarity call, I called it my clarity call, because that's what I feel like I got from that. I went into a discussion with someone who'd reached out to me on LinkedIn for a discovery call. And when I was asked certain questions, your voice, Karen, just plays over in my head. Some of the things you say in those videos, it plays like a recorder in the back of my head. It's almost as though when someone says that word, then I hear the replay. And so, it definitely positions, because it's in that first 12 weeks, it's so topmost in your head. You literally just pour from that cup all the time.
Right.
And if you are doing that's the other thing. There's a saying that says something like, God helps those who help themselves. So people often say, well, God, I'm praying and God's going to help me. But we are asked to do our part, and the same with this program. We must, if I don't do what I'm supposed to do, I cannot get the results that the tools that have been put in place. So you have to make the commitment. And it's one of the greatest commitments to yourself you'll make as a business owner when you sign up for this program. It's the strongest commitment. So you are going to commit to do your 12 weeks, and you're going to do it as it gets done. And I think that for the last 18 months, where I've seen people have really done it, where they've done everything according to the book, I've seen people have success. Not necessarily, for example, in a monetary thing, but they have success in all areas, in aspects of themselves that they didn't even understand, whether that is in confidence and in showing up as a thought leader. And eventually I see that happening. I mean, the other day, there's someone who was in the program, is it a year and a half ago, and has been in the society since. It's now paying off, everything that it's all come together. Yeah. And I was thinking over the weekend that's one of the things that, you are the gym instructor, you are the fitness instructor, and you've invested in these people and all of that. And now they leave the program, the gym program, And in 6 months' time, the results are there, but because of the foundation being laid. And the
Right.
foundation is what we are so key in. You don't always know
Right.
what's going to happen post, So
But
that's
but
just,
so but let me I do how much I
I
100% agree with
know.
you. In fact, when I talk to people on calls that are interested in the program and they ask me, what kind of success can I expect? I said, to be honest, your success is going to be dependent on how much you do the work and the outreach that you do. But
Yes.
there's also, and I want to circle back to this, when we have created our strategy in a way that, of course, we're not expecting you to sit on the beach and let the millions drop on your head. There's things you need to do. But when you do those things, not
Mm.
only are you seeing quick results from that outreach, but you're creating a magnetic approach. And one of the things you said about that first VIP call you get was the guy found me on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Right. So that's what I mean about that magnetic approach. You didn't sit back and, like how many people, I mean, I'm not saying people didn't find you on LinkedIn last year or the year before, but once you start doing this work, there is a magnetic component to this. So when you found
Definitely.
when this guy found you on LinkedIn, tell us a little bit about the first engagement. How did that call go? And did he enroll with
Yes.
you? Yeah.
Yes, he's now a client.
Yeah. There we go. Right.
He's one of my monthly retainer clients, and I mean, he is so. Even though I don't normally work with men, it's not sort of what I put out there, but we work really well together. And he was a good match, and I often say it's because my profile looks so much better that people can see themselves being
Mhm.
supported
Yeah,
by
so
me.
it's not that it was done,
It's
it
about the
was done in a way
positioning.
that was created
Yeah,
a magnet, right?
correct.
Yes.
Yeah,
So I do
correct.
remember you saying to me when you had that call that, like, not only did you hear my voice what was my voice in your head saying? I want you to tell everybody what it was saying.
There's so many voices already, but the main voice, it keeps always saying, and this was specific to the second client as well that I got. I needed to add a zero. I needed to add a zero. It was as simple as that. I had to up level, upscale
Mhm.
that, and so that's what I did. And that it was add the zero to the pricing and schedule the next call.
Yeah.
Get it on your calendar. Don't give them the opportunity to disappear. And then you got to try to get them and get feedback from them, schedule the next call. And I've been doing that with every single call since then. And every single call, it happens like that. We do the talk, I do the proposal, we have the call, and then I sign the business.
Right.
I am doing I say, I follow the formula. I follow the
I can't even,
Yankovich
I mean, listen, I
formula.
love this for all of our students, of course, but I especially love it for you because when you've experienced the successes that there are
Yeah.
there for our students, you can speak from experience
Yeah.
when you say this stuff because they are struggling. One of the things that we
Yeah.
incorporated in 2023 was accountability coaching into the program not because I think our people need to be babysat, but because I think that sometimes when things are starting to get hard, we
Yes.
retreat, we stick our head in the sand, my goal is to do everything in my power to help you get those contracts, it's really not, I mean, yes, I can help you build a thought leader brand and yes, but at the end of the day, and you know this because there are times when we talk about wins on our weekly calls and I go, okay, can next week everybody come to me with a client win? You know what I mean? I love that your wins are, I took a walk every day this week and I got to spend the day with my granddaughter. I love those being your wins because that's a big part of what we do. But I also want to keep you focused on the money because more money gives us more choices and I want more
Yes.
women to have more money. So and you know this, right?
Yes.
Everyone on our team knows this because I have to keep you all focused on that so that you guys can keep our students all focused on that, right? And that's important. It's an important piece to me. It's important to me because I'm not just looking to bring people into this program and take their money, right? I want them, we have kind of like I guess it's like a company mission or something, that every single person in the company understands that the value of this program is 10 times what our students invest, and I want to know that with every fiber of my body. I want you to know that with every fiber of your body. And I want our students to know when they add a zero, their services are still worth 10 times that, right? So it's really about the ripple effect of thinking bigger, building wealth, and creating just this beautiful supportive environment where women are supporting each other from a place of abundance, where they
Yes.
can start charities, donate money, take their kids to Disney World for a month, or a week, whatever, right? Like they can do the things that are important to them. And the fact that you've experienced that personally, I think gives you an even more unique ability to chat with our clients that are struggling, right? Because sometimes they do struggle. That you did listen, just coming
Yes.
here, a big part of what we do is this, right? Are you building your thought leader brand so that and part of that is being more visible. And
Yeah.
so sometimes there are people, there's all different places where we have imposter syndrome and triggers, right? So I appreciate you for doing the hard work so that you understand what they're all going through.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity as well. I think it's because I have an understanding of what they go through when they do, and there are times where people do disappear because it becomes too much.
Yeah.
I'm like a mother hen who tracks you down. I'm going to track you down, and I'm going to enfold you in my arms, and I'm going to say it's okay, but how can we get through this?
Mm-hmm.
And more importantly, how can we get through this together? And so
Right.
I like to think of it as that. I was speaking to one of the students earlier today, and I was saying that at the heart of everything, at the heart of all of what this is about, is that Karen truly cares about the women in her program. She truly, truly wants to see that you have the results. She wants to have you feel that you have been valued and supported through your experience here with the She's Linked Up team. That's at the heart of everything. And that really speaks to that concept of love that we spoke about earlier. We really, really, really just want to love up on our people because they are worthy and they deserve that love. And you may not find that outside of where you are. You may have that readily available to you.
Mm-hmm.
But none of us can have too much love.
Yes.
None of us can be receiving too much love.
So let me ask you this. I mean, our podcast, the person that's listening to this right now has heard me talk a lot about who we think we best serve and who should not only, listen, this podcast is a part of that process, by the way, right? Like if what you take away from this interview today is that you listen to next week's podcast, I'm cool with that, right? Like I think that everybody's in their own space in where they are in their growth, right? And this podcast is one of the things that I give to my community and to the world. And if you're listening every week, I love that. In fact, if you're listening every week and you love the show, I'd love a review. It would be a good time for that. But also then, the next step would be, and if you feel aligned with all of this, I'd love to see your name on our calendar because the next step would be to grab a spot on the calendar and speak to me or somebody on our team about what it might look like to get some support. And those are definitely not, those calls are done in the same energy you've heard today, right? I'm going to say this, but I don't want this to be intimidating by you. But I don't want you to be intimidated by this. I'm picky about who we bring into this program because I want to know in my heart of hearts that I need to know that I see a $250,000 business in your future. And if I'm not sure you're ready, then I will give you some ideas. But either way, I want you to book that call. And I tell you that because it's not like I'm going to just try and sell you into this program. It's not that at all. If I think, in fact, we've got a couple different things we can do to work with people. And then of course, if we think it's a fit and you think it's a fit for now, we can talk about what it looks like to get you that additional support. So Dee, who you think, if you're listening right now, tell them about like, who do you think we best support? Like, who's the woman listening right now and isn't sure if she should book a call, right? What are your thoughts on that? Who do you think this program is for?
It's definitely for that woman who's looking for something. She hasn't been able to put a finger on what that is, but she knows that something needs to be different, something needs to change. And she wants to, at the heart of everything that she does, she wants to make an impact somewhere. So she's in some form of transition. There's definitely this thing of transition. Maybe it's a new job, maybe it's going off into another direction, going to do some passion work, maybe you are in the passion work, but you really, really want to take it that next level. You want to take your business to a completely different level. You don't know how to do it. We have the tools to help you do that. It's all about impact. It's all about making and realizing the dream, making that alive, living the dream, being alive in the dream. This program and the tools that and techniques and the strategies and all of that, it's geared towards that. It's written around that. It's there. It will help you up level everything. And I'm not surprised it's called Up Level Media in the the company. It made absolute sense when I went through that experience. It really is it's about leveling up. You're afraid, and that's okay. It's all right to be afraid. Take one step. The one step, Karen, that you mentioned today, it's a call on the calendar. It's a no obligation call on the calendar. It's one step towards your future, the future you that's going to be making the impact that you want to make in the world and in your life, your family, your kids, your grandchildren, whatever that is. This is not the time for us to play small. There's only so much time that we have. Time irrelevant. There's only so much that we can do while we are still here. And so that's the woman.
So does it matter? Does it matter what they're doing? What are they doing right now? Does it matter if they're just starting? Does it matter if they've been doing it for 10 years? Does it matter if they're an entrepreneur or in corporate or truth? Give me the truth. What do you think?
Truthfully, for me, it doesn't feel like that matters. It doesn't feel that matters at all. The only thing that matters is that I need to make my dream at the core of who I am. I want to make an impact. I want to make a difference in the world. I want to make a difference. That's the calling within me. No matter where I am, Karen, there are things that you can help people with that I think you don't even realize yet that you can. We all have gifts in all spheres. Whether you come into the world, into Karen's world now, and you're not ready right now, it's exactly as you said, Karen. It's that discovery call, that call. You're not pitching, you're not selling. They may not be ready right now, but they will be ready in the future. I will be ready in the future. And something about that call, a call with you from a strategy perspective and what you give in that call, there's something that you unlock every time you speak to someone. I see the women's faces. I see what happens when they in those calls, because obviously I do some of the work in the back end. So I see that. I see that it's like there's a light. There's something that changes, and I've seen evidence of that in looking at how some people have just embraced that change. And I've seen people who have been fearful of the change because right now where they are in their mindset, they're just not ready. But that's okay because you've sown
and it takes some courage to say yes. It takes some courage to say yes, right? Yeah.
You've sown the seed, and your job is really just to sow the seeds. They will germinate when it's ready.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't matter where she is. She just has this deep, deep longing to make that impact.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that you're saying that because there was a woman that I spoke to over the summer and one of those calls, and for whatever reason, it wasn't the right time for her. And and if you're listening, you probably know who you are. She's popped into my, she replies to emails every now and then, and I've reached out to her. So we've stayed in contact. Right. And she sent me a message because we were talking about is now the time. Like we're talking about is now the time. And she's like, I don't know. I do it a little bit different. I think you serve coaches and something better. And I'm not sure that I can be helpful. So what I did was I went back to our initial call, which was recorded, and I listened to it because I'm like, it was 6 months ago. Why did I think she was? Because if I think you're a good fit and I think I can help you, it's hard to get rid of me. And I don't mean that in a I'm bugging you kind of way, but like I want more women to have more wealth. And if I think we're a perfect fit, I want to be able to support you, right? So which is, by the way, one of the reasons why on those initial calls we do look to get some quick response, to quick enrollments, not because I need to fake scarcity or anything like that, but we like the more time that goes by, like we kind of like forget. So I listened to the call. I was like, oh, because I was like, why did I think she was such a great fit? I was like, oh my gosh, now I'm reminded of that. I just sent the link to her and I said, you know what? I just watched this. Maybe you want to watch this. If it doesn't feel aligned still, let me know. And I'm here to support you at any time. But before you decide if this is a good fit or not, you need to watch our initial call where we had that conversation of, is this a good fit? And I sent her the recording, and I haven't talked to her yet. So we'll see if she ends up joining now or not. But, it is that first conversation whoever does the call with them spends a lot of time really kind of uncovering, like, what are they like? I ask a lot of questions because I want to know myself, if I think I can support this person. And there are times that if I don't, I will tell you this, if there are times that I wasn't sure and I let them kind of convince me to join the program anyway, I'm almost always like, yeah, I was kind of afraid this was going to happen kind of thing. I mean, for example, if your business is, if you truly want to sell one pen at a time, this is not the program for you. You can't use a LinkedIn strategy to make 99 cents, So, direct sales, things like that, there may or may not be a fit. If you can convince me that you have a big mission and you want a speaking platform or you're writing a book or something like that, maybe I would do that. But anyway, on that initial call, I sent her the recording and I've never done that before, but I was like, let me just send her this. And, because at the end of the day, I want it to be a hell yes. And we were getting to the point that if it was a yes, it wasn't going to be a hell yes. And I was like, I don't want just a yes. I want a hell yes. So I want to remind her of why I thought it was a great fit and then why she thought it was a great fit. And if it's not anymore, that's okay too, because I want people completely, I want you all in. And it's not a lot of work. It's not all in physically. It is, I guess, some degree, but I want you all in mentally so that we can make the magic happen. Right. So Dee, this has been so fun to do this. This was kind of an impulsive decision. And I'm so glad we did this because first of all, it was fun. I don't know that I ask you enough about your perspective on this, and maybe I need to do that more. But I think that, the reason I do this show is to help more women have the confidence to take that next step. It doesn't have to be with me, right? It can be with whatever you're feeling. But I love that you're here to say this stuff works. It doesn't have to be, I mean, I would love to work with you guys, but it doesn't have to be Karen. But know that when you grab when you get pushed a little bit, the magic does start to happen and the clients do start to come in. And Dee, I remember how I found you was through a Facebook group. I was looking for some help and you were posting in Facebook group. You don't have to do that anymore. You don't have to do that anymore, right? You can let people come to you. You don't have to do that anymore. Yeah. But so tell me what's next for you. What's next in your brand? Dee is very committed to helping women in South Africa have income. So tell me a little bit about what's in it for you as you think about 2024 and 2025.
Yeah. So definitely, I mean, there again, when we spoke about the ideal client for this, I match that actually. I mean, at the heart of what I do from a business perspective is that I want to make an impact, and that means. For me, it means that I can't play small. I have to show up, and I've got to show up big, because I cannot scale anything and make the impact I want to unless I do what you're basically asking me to do, even coming on a podcast.
Right.
you know,
which now you can share with your South African community, right?
I guess. Yes. So I'm definitely continuing my strategy. I do everything according to what I'm supposed to do. Some weeks I give myself grace. Some weeks I don't do the amount of outreach I'm supposed to do, but then other weeks I supersede that. So, I continue to take the the foundational kind of things that we learn in the program, and I do them. I just do it maybe a little differently to what others would do it. For example, if I'm supposed to do 5, then 5 a day, then maybe I'm doing 20 a week, instead of, in terms of the recipe. But I'm still getting the same results. I mean, since I did the program, I've got calls booked every week. I'm having conversations with people in the DMs. I have new people that reach out to me. And it's only through continuing to do all of those things that I will eventually to have the reach and impact that I want for the women in South Africa, particularly women who have sick kids that cannot work and earn an income. My business supports them, and my business supports them being able to do work and have an income for their family. And I can't do that without doing what my LinkedIn strategy tells me to do.
I love that.
So it's a not negotiable. It's a not negotiable. I can feel you. I've got the strategy. I got that from someone like you who's knowledgeable and who understands how this works. How I do it, how I end up doing it, that I can play around with. But I've got my framework, I've got my structure, I've got the recipe. How I choose to make the cake or make the pot of food is going to be up to me. If I'm not going to do all of what I'm supposed to do, then it's going to not taste as good as it should taste.
Right.
Right. And so for me, it's definitely about scaling this year, definitely about that, big on my radar. And so far it's the end of January, and I'm on target for January.
Awesome. I'm so excited to hear that.
Yeah.
Dee, thank you. First of all, thank you for all you do for me and for our clients, but also for being here today and sharing your experiences with my podcast audience. I think this is, I like providing a little bit more behind the scenes. I feel like, one of my goals this year is to feel like I'm less talking at people and more like I'm talking with people. So if you heard this conversation and have a thought on, where anything you want to say, if you have any ideas for me, maybe from this, it's inspired something in you, I want to hear about that. In the show notes, if you go to KarenYankovich.com/271, you can, you'll see all the notes from this episode. And there's a link in there for SpeakPipe. I personally respond to everything in that from SpeakPipe myself. And again, it's how we have a little bit more, how I do a little bit more talking with you than at you. Wherever, as you can see, we're still doing video, which for this show, if you're listening to this on audio, know that you can come on over to my YouTube channel and watch the video. If you want to see, my Italian hand gestures, you can do that. And if you liked this, I would love for you to share this with your audience. Tag me, tag Dee. We'll put all of our social media handles in the show notes. Tag us both. We'll share it with our audience, and that's how we create that ripple. That's how we start to bring, if the extent of our relationship is that you're a podcast listener, we love our podcast listeners and we want to love up on them too. So give us a chance to do that by sharing this so that we can share it with our audiences. Right. And then, remember that, we're here for you. Right? Grab a spot on our calendar. If you decide you want to work with our team, you get to not just work with me, you get to, this lovely woman over here, you get to work with as well. And she's the first person you meet. And know that we've got a lot of fun things planned for you in 2024. And, help us help you. Right? So, Dee, thank you so much for being here. I am very much looking forward to seeing what 2024 enrolls for us and for our programs and for our students. We've made some serious changes in the program this year that I'm really excited about. And I can't wait to kind of dive into all of that. And, thank you for being who you are. And if you're listening, thank you for being who you are. And I'll see you here next week.